Welcome back to Wow Drama Stories. Timestamps in the description box. Story 1. Opie writes, I, 35 female, just got married less than a week ago to my 34 male husband. After 6 years of dating, he has this friend, 36 female. Let's call her Lucy. I've never liked Lucy, but I've always been cordial to her because their friendship was important to him. A couple of reasons I don't like her. He took me on a trip when my sister was dying of brain cancer to help me de-stress. We drove up there only to find she had invited herself, child, sister, and sister's 4 kids without asking to the 1-bedroom beach house we rented. She then purchased 3 tickets to SeaWorld for herself, her daughter, and my husband, boyfriend at the time. Because I'm an animal lover and don't agree with animals as entertainment, she told him I can stay there by myself. He of course declined and told her that he wouldn't leave me in a strange city by myself. She told us she couldn't afford to buy her daughter a bed, so we purchased one for her. And the next day, she posted herself buying $600 designer shoes. She had the audacity to ask a parent to change a gift I had gotten for their daughters. Both kids share a birthday because she would like the other toy better and snatched it from the girl. I snatched it back and told her it was inappropriate to take things from a child because she felt her daughter would want it. She called a friend fat at her engagement party. Everything came to a head last year during a festival and friend's birthday. Our friend group wound up cutting her and her boyfriend off. He does nothing to help stop her behavior and tries to make her the victim oftentimes. As we planned our wedding, she originally wasn't on the list of invitees. A couple of months ago, her and her boyfriend started an apology tour of sorts. She sent me a novel of an email that basically was a sorry, not sorry, it's everyone else's fault, yada yada. My fiancé felt she was being genuine and decided to invite them to the wedding. And I told him words are nothing and I need to see action behind her remorse. Wedding day comes. She's competing with his mom. Mom cries, she cries louder. Someone says something, she has to up them. Toast/speech time came. After everyone made a toast, she grabs the mic and proceeds to talk down about me, how she never thought I was good enough and combative, which shocked everyone because I'm nothing of the sort. One of my bridesmaids got up and confronted her and took the mic away. I turned to my now husband and said, "Told you so." Lucy then attempted to fight my bridesmaid. Everyone separated them, and I asked that her and a significant other leave. I go to the bridal suite to calm down. I come back and tell my husband he can no longer have her as a friend. She has disrespected me for the last time. A couple of people have told me I am the a-hole for dictating who he can be friends with, but she is the only person I have ever told him to cut off. Am I the a-hole? We do have an update from Opie and we will get to that soon. Well, Opie, I don't think you are the a-hole. Lucy sounds like a very unpleasant person and she's definitely done things repeatedly to disrespect you. So I don't think it's unfair at all for you to ask your new husband to cut her off. And the fact that she carried on like that at your wedding is just totally unacceptable. It's time for your husband to take action. On we move to some comments. Someone says, "Not the a-hole. I understand how you feel, but you don't have a Lucy problem. You have a husband problem. It's up to him to set boundaries in the friendship, not enabling her behavior. I really don't think you should ask him to drop her, since this probably would lead to a divide between you two, but maybe have an honest conversation about her lousiness and how he deals with it." And someone else comments, "I find it incredibly ridiculous after everything his friend has done to his wife. His instinct isn't to cut the friend off. The woman literally gave a speech trashing his wife at their wedding. This is a totally reasonable thing for his wife to ask him to cut someone off for." And another comment, "She is threatened by women who are important to your husband. She tried to sabotage your vacation by planning a date with your husband and her daughter. She tried to ruin your wedding with her disrespectful speech, but she even tried to overpower your mother-in-law. You're not the only person to see what she's about. The fact that your friend group wanted to cut her off speaks volumes. All the people who think you're the a-hole for telling your husband to cut her off don't understand the magnitude of the situation or see what she's about, so ignore them. Let's get a final comment with a reply from Opie before we get Opie's update. Not the a-hole, except you if you stay with this man. Why did you even marry him? You had to know he was like this about her. You can't expect him to change now. Are you sure they haven't been carrying on? Because I cannot think of a single reason a man would behave like this unless she's got some dirt on him or he's got feelings. There's more to this. And Opie replies, positive. She doesn't even live in our area any longer. But one friend did point out that they were used to Lucy's crap, and that's just how she was. But as the group started getting into relationships and bringing their significant others around, they started noticing the behavior shifted towards the ladies. I should mention that she is the only female in the group, and my husband also wouldn't get involved with her, not only because he doesn't see her in that light, but she has dated others in the group. And here's Opie's update. No, we aren't going to get a divorce or an annulment. Besides his bad penchant for being oblivious to her behavior, he is an amazing person. No, he is not having an affair with her, but a lot of people, including myself, feel that maybe she has feelings for him. He only sees her in a platonic way. He has cut her off before. Like I said, last year to year and a half was complete no contact. He thought she was genuinely remorseful, so decided to give her another chance, as they had been friends for almost 15 years. When I did tell him he can no longer be friends, he wasn't angry or anything. He just asked that we table the conversation until we get back home, as to not put a damper on the rest of the time we spend with other family and friends. We arrive home in a few hours, so I figured I would post to help me figure out the best approach. Some of you have given me some really good advice. I'm not a confrontational person, so this is a little difficult for me. I will pin it in the comment section if Opie does update. Story 2. Opie writes, this situation is literally ridiculous, but this whole thing has almost caused nuclear warfare across the family, so I'm here to get a consensus. Throw away for privacy, even though there's a good chance my fiancé will see it. I, 26 female, have been with my fiancé Chris, 26 male, for 4 years now. He and his sister, 21 female, Lilac, are very close. They had a pretty traumatic childhood and always promised each other to be there no matter what. Lilac is a good sister to him, but as a person, truthfully, I can't stand her. She is literally the textbook definition of a bubbly blonde. She's overly charismatic, always giggling, and in general just acts too immature for my taste. She likes to pull pranks every once in a while on my fiancé, and he gets her back. But the whole ordeal just seems childish and obnoxious to me. Ever since we got engaged, I knew I didn't want her in my wedding party because that means I'd have to spend time with her at my bachelorette and other parties. Fast forward to last night, and my fiancé asked me when I plan on asking Lilac to be a bridesmaid. I got quiet and truthfully said I didn't plan on doing so. This upset him because he said he wants his sister to be a part of the most important day of his life, and that if I didn't do it, he was going to make her a, quote, groomswoman, unquote, to make sure she is included. I can't lie, this set me off. I went off about how I want to feel respected by him and be able to enjoy my wedding day. He said he also wants to enjoy his day, which, to be fair, I understand. This is where I may be the a-hole. I told him that I have always disliked his sister and wished he would just not include her for once on a day that wasn't even about her. He got quiet and went into our guest room to be alone. A couple of minutes later, I got a text from Lilac that she completely respects my decision to not want her in the wedding party, but she's hurt to know what I actually feel about her. I didn't want her to find out at all, and now he's told his whole family about our argument. Half of them are attacking me, and half of them are saying it's my day, so I should be able to enjoy it. Honestly, this whole ordeal is stressful for no reason, because Lilac isn't even upset I don't want her in my wedding party. Yet the whole family is upset, and my fiancé has been very short with me all day. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Just because I hate her personality doesn't mean I'm mean to her. Being around her drains my social battery, but I've never been mean to her, nor did I want her to find out ever, especially in this way. I'm just super introverted, and our personalities collide. I don't want her at my bachelorette party because I want to enjoy it fully and not feel anxious the whole time because the personification of a human firecracker is attending. We do have 2 updates from OP coming up in a little bit. My opinion is that not everybody is going to get along. You're going to meet people that you don't like, and that's okay. Sometimes people just rub each other the wrong way, and that's just how it is. But OP, in a situation like this, she is going to be your sister-in-law. She's always going to be in your life. So the both of you really do have to make an effort and talk about this. Because I do think this relationship can be improved. You just have to have boundaries, I guess, with each other. But I don't think all is lost. But I can understand why your fiancé is hurt. And you know, OP, if his sister really wanted to create problems between the two of you, she could really do it right now. But it doesn't sound like she is. So she might be a bit more mature than you giving her credit for. Let's get some comments before we get to the update. Someone comments, "You are the a-hole," and sound jealous of their relationship. It's not just your wedding, it's his wedding too. And if you don't want her as a bridesmaid, then fine. But it's unfair for you to dictate that he can't have her on his side and blow up at him for wanting to include her. Lots of selfishness on your end. That's not a great way to start a marriage. It's not even like she's major drama. You just find her too giggly and obnoxious. Someone else says, I was expecting to read that Lilac was a huge meth head or a violent alcoholic, not a happy woman. Oh, and blonde. The very nerve. And another comment, "As an introvert, I'm annoyed by this kind of people. Too happy, too excited, too loud, too overwhelming. So sometimes I don't like nice people for no valid reason, but I know it's a me problem and that I have to deal with it alone without hurting anyone." And a final comment before we get OP's updates. "You are the a-hole. If I were Chris, I'd call off the wedding. Yes, Lilac's overly bubbly, but is she a good person? Is she supportive? You give no indication of significant character flaws, and you are not marrying her. But she will be family if you marry Chris. Frankly, I'm surprised they didn't sense the irrational disdain that you have for Lilac already. I think you are the immature one who needs to grow up." On to OP's updates. I'm probably going to make this my only update for a while, if not ever. We talked this morning. Sorry for not posting earlier. My Wi-Fi company has been having some issues. We still are not resolved. He doesn't just want her as a groomswoman, but wants to ask her to be the, quote, best woman, unquote. Best man, but as a woman. This is still not resolved because I'm not comfortable with that. And it's more stressful because the whole family has turned into flying monkeys because his sister is the apple of their eye. So they took what I said as a serious attack against her. Second update. He called me about 2 hours ago. He is currently staying at Lilac's and asked if we could talk. I obliged, and it was a very difficult talk, to say the least. I asked him to come home and he rejected. First, he apologized for telling his family and said it was a rash mistake he made in the heat of the moment. Then he said that if I wasn't willing to have her as a bridesmaid, that it is unfair of me to ask him to not have her as his best woman, and that he's not willing to compromise his sister's role in our wedding. This made me cry and tell him that I'm tired of feeling second place next to another woman and that I was going to be his wife. So I wanted to feel like he had my back when I needed him. This really upset him, and he said that as Lilac's big brother, he is also supposed to have her back when she needs him, and she needs him now, when the supposed love of his life is blindsiding him with hurtful information about her. He told me that it was true. He does put Lilac first in some situations, and he won't stop because he raised her. He said it's not fair of me to ask to always be number one. She is like his daughter. He said that he is willing to go to couples counseling. But first I need to apologize to Lilac for what I said and stop griping over the fact he wants her as his best woman. The call was filled with lots of tears, and we finally decided to give it a rest and talk tomorrow so that we could both process what was going on. Well, Opie hasn't updated since, and I'm not sure that she's going to, because her comments have been downvoted a lot, and she has been judged the a-hole. We've come to the end of another video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. Until next time, wishing you a drama-free life.